Behind Le'Veon Moss, A&M was ranked 13th. So A&M was not even close to being. I mean, they are the best rushing offense that Missouri will have seen, and it's not even close.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs. We are back here in the studio. The show today was from the Angry Elephant in South College Station. We had a loaded guest list today, did we not, Matthew?
I mean, it starts with Josh Pate, but it doesn't end with Josh Pate.
Of course it doesn't, because we had the final countdown with the McKinney Brothers in the last hour. That was fantastic. TexAgs co-owner and executive editor Billy Liucci here on a Friday as usual, and then Olin Buchanan in the Go Hour. He was fantastic, like he always is. He was bringing the energy for those people in person at the Angry Elephant. Thank you guys for watching, and check out the Rewind.
OB, let's do some matchups, shall we?
Let's do.
I know you've got some interesting matchups. Where do you want to start off with this one?
Well, how about the one that we've talked about a lot already, but Le'Veon Moss or the A&M running game, but we're featuring Le'Veon Moss against that Missouri run defense. You know, Le'Veon's had at least 84 yards rushing in each of the last 4 games, 70 yards in every game. Coming off a career high 117 rushing yards, 90 in the fourth quarter against Arkansas. He's doing that despite your opponents understanding that you got to stop him.
Yep.
So that running game, are they still going to be able to, offensive line going to be able to make room for them? I think it's key that they do and give him just a little bit of a crease, and he's shown, he's like a bull in the china shop. He's going to go through there and create havoc. Now, Missouri's defense statistically looks like they're really strong against the run. I think they're 19th in the country against the run. But then you have to look deeper into it. And how much of that is skewed because their first 2 opponents were Murray State and Buffalo.
Sure.
And they gave up, I think, less than 100 yards in both of those games combined. Here's the deal. Murray State does not apply here because they're an FCS team. But the Missouri helped Buffalo to 114 yards rushing. I think Boston College to 49, and Vanderbilt had about 146 last week. Boston College is ranked 59th in the nation in rushing offense. Buffalo was ranked 120th.
Okay.
It means they're not running against anybody.
But nobody, yeah.
And Vanderbilt is 63rd. Behind Le'Veon Moss, A&M was ranked 13th. So A&M was not even close to being, I mean, they are the best rushing offense that Missouri will have seen, and it's not even close.
At what point in the season you are who you are? Okay. Is it now? Have we reached the point like this is who you are? And by the way, Le'Veon Moss, this is who he is. Yeah, I've already made up my mind.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you heard the I don't know, the line that when you're at your best is when you're at mid-season form?
Yep, we're mid-season, buddy.
We're mid-season. So, yeah, I would think you are who you are by now, especially for A&M.
Hopefully, we're mid-season at game 7 or 8. I'm just saying,
I think we're talking about the regular season, but yeah, I know
you know what I mean.
Mid-season and right at 8. Yeah.
What else do we have, OB? Do you have Noah Thomas on the list?
Well, I certainly could, even though.
Oh, you pick, my friend. I just saw him next on there. You go wherever you want to go. I follow your lead.
Okay, well, how about this? Since we've talked about this a little bit, the A&M secondary versus the Missouri receivers.
Yes.
Here's the thing, that A&M has had a problem of giving up big plays this year. You know who's had a problem of getting big plays? Missouri. Mm-hmm. Missouri, I think, only has 10 in 4 games, 10 pass plays that have
30 or more,
20 yards or more.
20 or more. Okay.
Yeah. And they only have 4 touchdown passes. You know who caught them all?
It's not Luther Burden.
It is Luther Burden.
It is Luther.
They've only 4 touchdown passes in 4 games. Luther Burden caught them all.
Josh, let's talk a little bit about that defense, because the beginning of the season, the defense was good, right? But I wasn't seeing the sack numbers, but there was pressure. Started seeing some sack numbers. Nick Scorton doing his thing. Missouri known to get rid of the ball quickly, which is what Notre Dame did, which is what Bowling Green did. How do you see this defensive line doing against that Missouri offensive line?
Well, the first thing I focus on, because of the style of play of your opponent this week, is tackling on the perimeter. Like, I actually think about DBs tackling in space, because that's the kind of stuff I remember so vividly. I think it was Bama coming in here in like 2013. It was the year after you beat him in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
And I remember Gary Danielson, think what you want about him. I remember him making the point over and over again earlier in that game. A&M's going to have to earn the right to rush the passer, which means get 2nd and 7, 3rd and 6 obvious passing downs and things where you have to have things that take longer to develop. And that's when your front can get after it. And they possess the ability to do that. Of course, the other guy knows you possess the ability to do that. So chief among their game prep this entire week or 2 week stretch has probably been, how much of this game can we play on the perimeter? Speaking of Bama, like they did a lot of that against Georgia last week. Right. They didn't run the ball worth anything between the tackles. They had a couple of good runs between the tackles. And yet you think back about the first half and you think, wow, offensively, they dominated that game. And they did. And they did it really without what should be their fastball, which is they got 2 stud running backs. They just didn't do much because Georgia took it away. Well, what they did is they found a ton of life on the perimeter. You just can't let Missouri do that to you. And if you don't do that and you funnel that stuff back to the inside, well, then they're in a place they didn't think they'd be, because I can promise you they believe they can do that. Like they believe that is their fastball. They can get you spread out and then they can beat you that way. I'm not going to say it's an unknown, because unlike Missouri, we have seen A&M face quality competition. Like you can say what you want about Florida. Those are quality athletes. Like it's the athletic profile that they've been on the field with and they've seen. I'm going to read this from Saturday Down South. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this before we hit a break. Missouri won't give up many sustained drives. The Tigers rank 11th nationally in plays where they've allowed 0 or fewer plays. They've also forced the 10th most 3 and outs in college football. In other words, you better be able to create big plays to beat Missouri.
Okay.
So a little bit, I think I know where you're going to go with this.
Well, I'm just not sold on that, because it's about the company you keep. They played Buffalo, which is terrible. They played Murray State, and then they struggled with Vanderbilt and Boston College. So I was saying all those teams are ranked like, I can't remember, but 120th to 70th or something like that in rushing offense. A&M's 13th. How do you know that teams can't sustain a drive on them if they've just been playing teams that don't have the ability against most of their opponents to sustain drives?
Well, when I think of sustaining drives, I know there's more to it than this. You have to complete third down passes. But part of that to me is, can you consistently line up and run the football? Vandy has a good quarterback, Diego. They've got a good quarterback at Boston College, Castellanos. Dangerous runners, both of them. What they don't have is at the line of scrimmage, there's not a Trey Zune, there's not a Chase Besantis, then Coley, Armaj Reed Adams, who I hope can go this week. That's going to be a late, probably a today type decision. And then, the guys like Fothery and Crownover with their size and athleticism at tackle. They don't line up. And so if you're Missouri, you're physically, I think, in the trenches superior to Boston College and to Vandy when those teams have the ball. And certainly those other teams that Olin said, you can throw them around, you can out-athlete them, you can overpower them. That's not going to be the case on Saturday. And if A&M can overpower Vandy at the line of scrimmage, because we spend every week talking about what does this A&M D-line do to another team. If they can do that to Missouri and just kind of win the battle, maybe not just completely overpower them, but win the battle, which despite what Landon Jackson did to the Aggie offensive line, over the 4 quarters, they won the battle. It just took them 3 to get there, but they won it. I don't think Missouri can do to the A&M O-line what they've done to every opponent they've played so far. So to me, like Olin said, those numbers, they don't relate. They're not relatable to what, they don't carry over. There's no like transitive property there when I'm hearing it. This is Missouri's big test of the year so far. And because of their schedule, it's one of like 2 big tests they have all year. But can they continue to make good plays and force turnovers? That'll be my big thing this week. Can they forced 3 against Arkansas. They've been a turnover producing defense lately. They got a big pick against Bowling Green late. They've been a turnover producing defense. Can they keep that up? If they do, they'll win.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, maybe I'll start talking.
I was going to say the thing that you would want to see out of the defense is to eliminate the big play. I mean, those are going to happen, but it seems to happen too often, and in every game. You know what I mean? And so we could eliminate just at least one of the big plays. I mean, the fake punt was just whatever. That might happen from time to time. But really, that's what made last week even seem so close. It should not have been close. Those two big plays. Yeah. It should have never happened, and they happened, and that's what made that game close. If we can just knock out one or two of those, that's it. Just like one or two of those a game, and the defense is a completely different looking beast out there.
I'm glad you bring that up because that's where Missouri struggles. They don't have a lot of big plays this year. Most of their plays are not big plays. Well, yeah.
They do have the people for it. Yeah, because I say that not because I think it's going to start happening this weekend, but because they have individual players that have done it in that offense.
Yes.
It was last year.
Happened,
And here's something. So Luther Burden, most of his balls that he makes into big plays are within 8 to 10 yards, and then he breaks tackles. So it's going to be very important what you brought up earlier, how they tackle in open space.
Did I bring that up? Good point, Steve. I thought that was Billy.
Well, okay.
I thought it was paid.
It was somebody on this panel.
It was paid.
I'll take credit. It's cool.
All right.
All right, Matthew, what do the people need to do for this rewind?
They got to like, comment, and subscribe to this TexAgs YouTube page and this video. You were kind of a baller today, Cade. I mean, alone in this office, sort of.
I mean, yeah, for the most part, alone, yeah, but
I mean,
we got it rocking. We got it rocking back here. We're cooking up content.
I mean, we were cooking. I mean, call us capitalists the way that we owned the means and production in this office.
Absolutely. We will catch you next week.